Cool. Let's head back over to Liferay Developer Studio and then let's do a little bit more. Now you may have noticed over in your add menu under the widget section, we have this section here, category.training. It looks kind of funny, doesn't it? And so what we're going to do is we're going to use our language.property file to localize this section over here. We'll also be localizing a bunch of other values throughout Liferay, like this gradebook-web. We can localize that, the title here, and many other things. Even if we're not providing or we're not supporting multiple languages, we're still going through this because it's a good practice, a good methodology, good design to have many of our constants, many of our words abstracted out into these language.property files. So let's go ahead and take care of that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate down to my snippets. So we're going to be working with our snippets quite often. Today, we're in section 4, create the presentation layer. And right now we're on step number 2. So I'm going to open up step number 2 and we'll start with the gradebook web. And we're going to expand this out all the way till we find the language.properties file. Once we find the language.properties file, we'll go ahead and copy it. I'm going to scroll up back to our gradebook web project, heading over to the source main resources of my gradebook web, heading over to content. Let's go ahead and override our language.properties. So I'll go ahead and paste using Control V, and we'll go ahead and overwrite it. Once it's overwritten, I'll go ahead and open up the language.properties and we'll see a lot of different things going on here. So I'll call some of these different things out as we progress through. The big one right now is that training category or category.training. We are providing the value of it and saying it's going to be Liferay training. We have a couple of other ones as well. Things like the name of our gradebook application. Right, it's going to be gradebook. We have many others here that we're going to be working through as we progress through our exercise. So I'll go ahead and close these out, not working with them too much right now, getting us to more of a clean slate. I'll head back over to my instance of Liferay just to highlight those changes that we have seen. All right, so heading over to the plus button, and we see Liferay training. So the language.property file is getting picked up by Liferay and providing the value of category.training like what we see here. So if you want to, feel free to change up your language.properties, and once the auto deploy does its thing, confirm that the change has occurred. That way it's not some sort of, magic. All right, another thing that we can do is we can provide sort of like a quote unquote master language.property file. So each one of our module projects can have its own language.property, but we can also provide a sort of master one that can be exported and used by other applications. So we're going to demonstrate what that kind of looks like, but we're not going to see it right away. So setting the stage for later. Let's head back over to Liferay Developer Studio. We'll scroll back down to our snippets, and we're going to be under our gradebook API. So we'll expand out the gradebook API, source, main, resources, content, and then we'll copy the language.property. Let me rephrase that. Let's make our lives easier, and I'll copy up to resources, and I'll show you guys why pretty soon. So I'm going to copy resources, this folder right here, making sure we're in the gradebook API. Let's go ahead and scroll back up, and we're inside of the gradebook API. So I'll expand out gradebook API, collapsing gradebook web. So source main, right? So source main, resources, content, and then language.properties here. All right, so we're going to paste the on your guys' end, I should say, you may not have this created on the source main resources. I might have done a little bit extra behind the scenes. So let me get to the same place that you guys are at. All right, I'll go ahead and delete these things. Source main resources is deleted. I do have an error there, and that's okay. So again, just to make sure, we'll copy up to resources. And then the approach that we're going to do is we're going to open up source main. So the individual source, the individual main, and then we can paste it right in the main folder. So then we get source main resources, content, language.properties. All right. I like to do my Gradle refresh often, so I'll go ahead and Gradle refresh. I also see an error over at my gradebook service. Let me take a look at that real quick. It might not be anything. Right, there it goes. It went away. All right, so providing that over in our gradebook API, setting the stage for a future exercise.